After Monday's shock win for Waterford in Tala, you'd have expected the focus to be on the champions out of tonight's Dublin derby, but subsequent events have taken the spotlight away from Shamrock Rovers and placed it firmly on St Patrick's Athletic. They also suffered a bad bank holiday, losing away in Sligo, but there was widespread shock on Tuesday morning when it was announced that the Saints had parted company with their manager John Daly in the aftermath. Yes, there were a few rumblings that Daly was under pressure. Expectations are high in Inchicore, with Garrett Kelleher continuing to back his managers in the transfer market, but his departure still feels premature. Pats have played just 15 competitive games since winning the FAI Cup last November. But it's been that kind of season, and in a strange way it feels as though the inconsistency of Rovers and Derry City has created the sense that the clubs in the chasing pack, with the exception of Shells of course, have all missed an opportunity to take a step forward. Daly can point to the fact that the Saints are just 2 points off fourth, but the fact they're that close in a congested league perhaps explains why owners are willing to roll the dice. Sean O'Connor steps in as interim boss tonight, and it's not a bad time to face their depleted hosts. Pats have players in the attacking midfield area that could ask questions of Rovers, but it's difficult to be confident about the bounce factor when Stephen Bradley's team have their own point to prove. Galway United are the team in possession of fourth spot. They're arguably the form team in the country at the minute, despite the fact they've only scored 8 goals in 14 games. Normally, that would be relegation form, but John Caulfield has assembled the meanest defence in the league with just 7 conceded. You'd have to assume that goals to game ratio is unsustainable, but we are almost halfway into the season, so maybe you can't rule it out that it could take them a long way. There should be a great atmosphere around the visit of Sligo Rovers, even if the punters won't be expecting a goal fest. That St Pat's win, that was big for John Russell, Sligo Rovers boss. It's a dreadful cliche, but this is one of those games where the first goal is very, very important. If Shelbourne are to sustain a title challenge, they need to win home games against teams in the bottom half of the table. To be fair, they've actually been good at doing that so far. It's on the road where they've suffered a few more problems, so they'll be hoping for an uneventful meeting with Drogheda after their fiery 2-2 draw in Louth last month. Dundalk are in real bother at the bottom after their dramatic loss to Drogheda. You might see them referred to as Noel King's Dundalk in places, but there remains a grey area around the extent of his impact so far. He's taking a backseat role on the sideline. Waterford should be in great heart after their famous win in Tala, but they've only taken 1 point from the last 4 home matches, so Dundalk are not quite entering a fortress. Now, when Dundalk and Waterford last met on the 15th of March, Stephen O'Donnell was Dundalk boss and Alan Reynolds was Waterford assistant. Less than 2 months later, Reynolds and O'Donnell are working together at Bohemians, with O'Donnell as the number 2. His last match as Dundalk boss was a drubbing in Derry, the club where Reynolds was assistant manager this time last year. The new Gypsies management team are in the Brandywell tonight, where they'll face a Derry side that was seconds away from top spot on Monday. Anything less than a home win here in a game packed with angles would be viewed as a disappointment. Down in the First Division, it's Cork City first and the rest rotating positions from week to week. Tim Clancy brings his team to Cove for a Cork derby, but the race for the playoff places will be the talking point for the remainder of the season. We'll have our usual video review after the night's games.